and welcome to Sleep Cove with me, Christopher Fitton, the place for a great night's sleep. Most people who listen to the show do not subscribe, so please take some time now to subscribe to get notifications on all free new content. With Easter around the corner, many of us have memories of our parents telling us about the Easter Bunny coming to deliver us treats and chocolate eggs. I have really happy memories, a bit like waiting for Santa to come and then waking up the next day to see if the Easter Bunny had been or not. Of course, he had come, and it was a really happy moment in my childhood. I never knew the Easter Bunny had a folktale about his origins, and I found this by accident when I was looking at spring stories to read. So tonight, you'll hear the charming story of the Easter rabbit from an old German folktale, and why he delivers treats for children. I'm also reading a couple of poems, and you'll hear a fairy tale by master storyteller Hans Christian Andersen about the Snowdrop and how it became spring's messenger. For those who celebrate it, I hope you have a great Easter weekend, and I hope you all enjoy these stories tonight. So let's begin. The Easter Rabbit. Chill and sharp north wind whistled through the forest where the trees and flowers were patiently awaiting the arrival of my Lady Spring. Jack Frost was delighted, perched on the topmost branches of the great trees. He laughed gleefully. Ha ha ha. Surely old Father Winter has forgotten that April is almost here, said he. I shall not remind him, not I. They say my Lady Spring, who is waiting in Wildflower Hollow, is growing most impatient. And so am I, whispered Mother Maple to her neighbour Dame Oak. I've told my babies many pleasant stories about my Lady Spring and her companion Merry Sunshine. I'm afraid I shall be unable to keep them in their dark cradles much longer. Oh, do hold them back a few days, said Dame Oak. You remember what trouble that rude rollicking fellow Jack Frost made last year. So long as he is here, he insists on playing with all the babies of the forest. I do wish Lady Spring would come and tell him to be off. He'll never go so long as his bold brother North Wind remains, sighed Silverbeach. Never mind, said Dame Oak. I feel sure we shall not have to wait much longer. Indeed, I saw Merry Sunshine dancing near the edge of the forest yesterday. I feel quite hopeful. Oh, how happy I shall be to hear Thrush's song again, said Silverbeach. And the children's voices. They haven't been to the forest since the nutting season, said Dame Oak. I'm sure they are longing to come again. For some time, Lady Spring had been waiting in Wildflower Hollow near the edge of the forest. Only a few days ago, the children had come there to gather flowers. Not a bird or blossom anywhere. See how brown and bare that bank is, said one. And Easter is almost here. I wonder why Lady Spring is so late, said another. Maybe she has forgotten us, said a tiny companion. I am very disappointed. Last year, at this time, that bank was blue with violets. Come, let us go home. And away ran the children. I shall wait no longer, said Lady Spring. Come, Merry Sunshine. Away danced Merry Sunshine, and Lady Spring followed in trailing robes of green and white. Waving her silver wand over the bank of Wildflower Hollow, she whispered, Ready, violets, come. Story Bluet, my sweet anemone, you need wait no longer. Ah, brave arbutus, I see you were expecting me. Did you think I was never coming, my dainty spring beauty? How graceful Lady Spring looked, waving her magic wand here and there through the forest. Wherever she stopped and touched the brown earth, the fresh grass leaped forth. Where she tapped the great tree trunks, the bare branches above instantly veiled themselves in tender green. She waved at the brooklet, and away it ran over the moss and pebbles. Sing, Merry Sunshine, dance and sing, Lady Spring called to her companion. Merry Sunshine trilled the gayest song. It ran sweetly through forest and echoed far over the hills to the south, where the birds were waiting patiently for the call. How gladly they came, bluebird and bobolink, cardinal and chickadee, blackbird and thrush and wren. All the forest warblers answered Merry Sunshine's song of spring. At last my work is done, said Lady Spring joyously. When are the children coming? Asked Dame Oak. Oh, to be sure, I must not forget to send them word that I am here. Robin Redbreast, will you take a message of spring to the children? I'm sure they will want to see the lovely blossoms and hear the sweet birds' songs. Lady Spring, said Robin, I'm afraid I cannot go today. You see, my mate and I are building a soft, warm nest in Oak Tree. We are very late this year. To be sure, Robin, I wonder where I can find a messenger. I think Red Fox would go for you, answered Robin Redbreast. See, here he comes now. Will you take word to the children that I have come, Reynard? Asked Lady Spring. Oh, I should be glad to go, but the people might think I came to steal their chickens. I believe Black Bear would be a better messenger than any of us. I'll run and ask him to go. But Reynard brought back the answer that Black Bear was afraid he would frighten the children too much. What shall I do for a messenger? Sighed Lady Spring. Robin cocked his head on one side and looked very thoughtful. Then he said, "I have it. I believe Bunny Rabbit would go. I saw him hop past but a moment ago. I'll call him." At a robin's whistle, Bunny came leaping out of the bushes. "Bunny Rabbit, I want you to take a message to the children in the city. Please go and tell them spring has come." "A message to the city, Lady Spring," exclaimed Bunny, raising his ears upright. "Please ask me to do anything but that. Dear me, the dogs might catch me. They bark so fiercely, and naughty boys might chase me. I'm sure I should never come back." But he dropped his voice and looked quickly about in all directions. Lady Spring was puzzled. "Bunny," said Robin, "couldn't you go at night? You know the dogs and boys go to sleep then, and you can hop so softly that I'm sure they would not hear you. Besides, your ears are very sharp." "Well, perhaps I could go at midnight," said Bunny thoughtfully. "But how could I take a message to the children without wakening them?" "Oh, I can manage that," said Lady Spring. "Meet me in Wildflower Hollow a little before 12 o'clock. Then you shall know all about my plan." "I will come," said Bunny. Lady Spring made a beautiful basket out of twigs and leaves and grasses. She lined it with the softest moss. Around the top, she placed a garland of choicest wild flowers, and when the birds knew that she was sending a message to the children, each one wished to help her. So they sent lovely little eggs of all colours, greenish blue, brown, white and spotted. How beautiful they looked, lying on the bed of moss, wreathed with flowers. A little before midnight, Bunny came to Wildflower Hollow. "I am ready," said Lady Spring. "See, Bunny, here is plenty of moss. To be careful with these precious eggs. When you come to a house where a little child lives, take out a little bit of moss and form it into a wee nest like this," said Lady Spring, weaving quickly a moss nest. "Then put into each one a wild flower and an egg. So, leave an egg for each child in the house." Yes, I understand, Lady Spring," said Bunny. "How pretty the nest is." Off he started as gaily as could be. On Easter morning, merry sunshine wakened the children early. See, I found this little moss nest on the doorstep," cried one of them. "There is a wild flower and 3 coloured eggs in it. How beautiful!" "An egg for each of us," said another. "I wonder what it means." I know, said little brother. "There are bunny tracks on the path. He must have brought the nest to us. Perhaps he came to tell us spring is here." "Of course he did," cried the children. clapping their tiny hands in glee. Bunny was spring's messenger. Away to the woods ran the children, crying out, "Spring is here, spring is here." Bunny Rabbit brought us the message. Green things growing. Oh, the green things growing, the green things growing, the faint sweet smell of the green things growing. I should love to live, whether I smile or grieve, just to watch the happy life of my green things growing. Oh, the fluttering and the pattering of those green things growing, how they talk to each other when none of us are knowing, in the wonderful white by the weird moonlight of the dim dreamy dawn where the cockerels are crowing. I love them so, my green things growing, and I think they love me without any knowing, for by many a tender touch they comfort me so much with the soft mute comfort of green things growing. The Snowdrop, Hans Christian Andersen. A deep snow covered the ground, for it was winter time. The air was cold, and the sharp wind blew, but in one tiny house all was snug and warm. There under earth and snow, in its bulb, lay a little flower. One day, when the rain fell, little drops trickled through the snow coverlet down into the earth and told the flower bulb about the light above. And presently a sunbeam, pointed and slender, pierced its way through the ground and tapped on the little bulb. "Come in," said the flower. "I cannot," said the sunbeam. "I am not strong enough to lift the latch. I shall be stronger when spring comes." "When will it be spring?" asked the flower. Soon many other little sunbeams tapped on the door of the brown house, and the flower asked each of them, "When will it be spring?" But the ground was covered with snow, and every night there was ice on the water. Spring seemed so far away that the little flower sighed and said impatiently, "How long is it? How long is it? I feel quite cribbed and cramped. I must stretch out a little. I must rise up. Lift the latch and look out. Then I shall say merrily to the spring, good morning." Now the walls of the flower's house had been softened by the rain, warmed by the earth and snow, and tapped upon the sunbeams. So when the flower within pushed and pushed against the walls, they gently gave way. Then up from under the earth shot the flower with a pale green bud on its tender stalk and long slender leaves that curled around it for a screen. The glittering snow was very cold, but easier to push through than the solid brown earth. "Welcome, welcome," sang the evening sunbeam. "Welcome, sweet little blossom." The flower lifted its head above the snow into the world of light. The sunbeams cheered it with kisses until it unfolded itself, white as the snow, and decked with green stripes. Thou art a little too early, said the wind and the weather. Be still, hold sway. It is entirely too cold for thee. Beautiful flower, sang the sunbeams, how lovely thou art in thy white purity. Thou art the herald of spring, our first flower. Thy fair white bell shall ring the glad tidings of spring over towns and fields. The snow shall melt, the bitter wind shall be driven away. Now earth shall send forth all her lovely blossoms, and thou shalt have beautiful fellowship. Welcome. The words of the sunbeams gave deep delight to the flower. It bowed its head in gladness and humility. The weather was cold enough to freeze it to pieces, such a delicate little flower, but it was stronger than anyone knew. It was strong in its glad faith in the spring and the message of the sunbeams. And so, with patient hope, it stood in its white dress, in the white snow, bowing its head when the snowflakes fell, and courageously lifted it again when the sunbeams scattered the clouds. A snowdrop, shouted the children who came running into the garden. There it stands, so pretty, so beautiful, the first, the only one. It is spring's messenger. Spring's messenger echoed from the keen morning air. April. The years at the spring, the days at the morn, mornings at 7, the hillsides dew pearled, the larks on the wing, the snails on the thorn, God's in his heaven, all right with the world. And after April, when May follows, and the white throat builds, and all the swallows, hark, where my blossomed pear tree in the hedge leans to the field and scatters on the clover blossoms and dewdrops at the bent spray's edge, that the wise thrush, he sings each song twice over, lest you should think he never could recapture the first fine, careless rapture. And though the fields look rough with hoary dew, all will be gay when new tide wakes anew. The buttercups, the little children's dower, far brighter than this gaudy melon flower.